Okay, so this would be by progress, I guess. Tia main. Okay. I have all these scans. I have all this stuff. 1 second. Let me see if I can get what Tia main's base level is. See if anyone has plucked this yet. Nobody has the base level yet. Okay. Let me see if the Rithum enemies have base levels yet. They're probably the same, because I think they were... Yeah. I think they were equalized across. So let me see here. Let's look at Doc Thule. Nobody has his base level either. Okay, so we're just gonna... Let's just assume that their base level is 1, I guess. Which will give them a bit hard, like harder scaling, but that's probably what it really is. It's probably just 1. So... Okay. And I'm gonna... Here, I'll just show, like, my work here. Bloop. Don't look at that. Alright. Let's do some EHP work. This is the bitch that was taking 35k a second. Okay. Tia main has 150 flesh. And then she has 100 shields, which don't matter. And she has alloy armor. And there's 200 of that. Okay. So for the purposes of this, we actually don't care about shields or armor because I was doing slash procs at 35k. So we just need to figure out how much flesh she had. And I know she could take at least 3 ticks of 35k if you can see where this is going. So... Man, I really wish I had the base level so I could get this out, like, exactly what that would be. So, if we want to, like, plug in exactly what this should be, we just take their base health, which is 150, multiplied by 1 plus... Wait, that's minus. Oh, wait, shit. I locked my cursor. There we go. Can't use this over here. Right, use this. 1 plus, and then we take... Well, what level would you say? I think I saw them at, like, level 360. So we take level 360... Let's actually give them a base level of 5. So, like, we have that... And then that is to the second times 0.015. Okay, that should get us the health. So I'm just going to plug that in over here real quick. So let me see this again. 150 times 1 plus 360. Can't use that, right? Because that's my locking key now, right? Okay, so that ends up being 283,706.25. That is how much just raw health this bitch has. That is an absurd amount of raw health. That's absurd. That's, like, legit absurd. You've played Yes Origin? That game's great. Can you blind the index enemies for a couple seconds? They normally don't have armor in most cases. Armor just to make them that much more unkillable. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is how much flesh this fucking enemy will have at level 360. And I think there were some of them were higher than that. I went kind of, like, basic on that. And that is only assuming that their base level is 5. So if they're, I'll show how this will have, here, I'll just copy it down. So if we assume their base level is 1, there's extra space there, it's bugging me. This is where you plug base level in. Actual level minus base level is how you get, like, most of this. So if we actually just plug that in, then we can do 150 times 1 plus 360 minus 1. If you wanted to see like how ridiculous this might be. That actually doesn't add that much. The difference between 5 and 1 is actually not that crazy. Huh. Figured it would be more than that. But anyway, I'll type it in just for funsies. Actually, I haven't done like tiny moderations like that. That's another 7,000 health though, which is like, it's not a tiny amount. I guess it's more significant with armor, which is what I'm normally doing calculations on. Anyway, let's do armor just for funsies. $100K would have been reasonable for a top tier anime. Oh, no. This isn't their EHP. That's health. That's just health. That is how much EHP the enemy has, provided I'm only using my fucking slash procs to get them. So this enemy, if let's just say it's a base level 5, 283K if I'm only dealing damage with slash procs, not counting their shields or their armor that would be affecting their health if I was using anything else. So let's do armor real quick. Okay, so the way we get this, we're gonna take base armor, so it's 200 alloy armor times 1 plus, and then we said what, 360 minus 5? 360 minus 5 to 1.75 times 0.005. Yeah, okay. So, and then that, this is just how much armor they have. This is not like the effectiveness of said armor, which we'll do in a second. So this ends up being 200. Oh, that's 390. Back up. There we go. 360 minus 5. 1.75, right. Okay. Times 0.005. Okay, boop. Okay, so that enemy has 29, 233. Oop, not that many threes. 233.51 armor. They have 30k armor. So, because I've done some calculations previously here, if you wanted to know how much armor a level 100 heavy gunner has, comparatively, okay, we'll take out this one that is accounting for like level 1s. And just put these together. So that's 30k. If you want to know how much armor a fucking heavy gunner has that's level 100, they have 7,000. That is over 3 times as much armor as a level 100 heavy gunner. Now, so the way you get armor is you take what your armor is, which is 29, 233.51, and then you, where's that key? This one. You divide it by 29, 233.51 plus 300. So if we go with that, which I can just use answer for this, and then divide by answer plus 300. Wait, no, did I do that wrong? Is it minus? Hold on, let me check that. Am I remembering that incorrectly? Let me 1 second real quick. Let me check that. Damage. Let me check that equation real quick. That might be wrong. Might have fucked that up. Oh no, I did. Yep, I did it incorrectly. These should be reversed. I think that. Wait, no. Does that actually matter? Wait, did I type it in wrong? Oh, whoops. Yeah, I did. I totally did. Okay, 233.51 divided by... It's not how numbers work. Why is it giving me a weird thing here? 293, 233, 0.51, right? divided. Am I doing this backwards? I feel like I'm doing this backwards. My brain might be fried right now. Let me go back and do this the correct way. Oh, right. I'm an idiot. I'm not... Right, never mind. 1 second. $2,935.33.51. There we go. I'm dumb. You have to add these before you do the division or else things get super weird because fucking math. I'm super dumb. Okay, so it's not... Okay. So instead of this, it's 5 because you add 300. So whenever you do that, you get what I actually expected. Which is this. 0.998. So that translates... to 99% damage reduction. Is there an extra 3 somewhere? Or is there an extra 3? You still have an extra 3, don't you? Where? I do not. You have an extra 3 in your armor for that equation? Fuck my life. You're super right. Alright, let's redo this. Let me make sure. That should be about right anyway, though. 29, 233.51. Alright, we'll do this again. 29, 533.51. There we go. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. So, what this actually is instead of 0.99, it's 0.98. Whoops. Yeah, so that's 98% damage reduction. Yeah. Which is too much. Like, way too much. Like, way too much. Also, so that we can do, like, your actual effective health. Let's take this bullshit, which is with 283, 283 at 706.25. Divide that by 1 minus this number. That's how you get your division. And you do that division beforehand. So then we have 283. Wait, no. We have to do the one first. 1 minus my previous answer, which is that. So we then do 283, 706. This double checking. 25. Then we divide that by that. Oh, good. That's a number. And here's a number you guys really want to see. That one enemy has... Here, let me just put these in here so it's a lot easier to look at. 27 million, almost 28 million effective health. That enemy at level 360 has about 28 million health. Effectively. They have 300k raw health, which is what I was attacking, which is still too much. In fact, let's go through and clean all these up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, they have 28 million. Question, how many bullets does it take? Answer, how many do you have? Yeah, for real. I'm sorry, Leechin. But yeah, that is how bullshit that one. Worth noting, one enemy. If that was a boss, that would be an acceptable amount of health for a boss to have. Red Berserker. We're going over the bullshit. And that's just one enemy. Like, let's look up what all the index, like, guys are so you can get, like, an idea of how retarded this is. Like, let's, I'm just gonna open all these up. Because the humans are the ones that aren't that tough. Okay, so, that Tia main is 150, 100, 200. Let's look at some of these other ones. Get some of these opened up. This would be no problem for Mag, because Magnetize and then Lanka. But Magnetize only lasts for like 2 seconds on them. Does Jordis and JV even have that much EHP? Not even close. Not even close. For comparison's sake, the amount of EHP... Actually, wait, no, I didn't fully... did I fully deck that out? No, I didn't do that full calculation whenever I did that. I don't have it right now. I'd rather not go through and do like the level 100 heavy gunner thing again. How many bullets does it take to get to the center of Tia main? You should get the Quanta Vandal or the Prismatic Akata. If you like how the Quanta fires, I would suggest the Quanta Vandal. Okay, so Tia main is 150, 100, 200. These other pages have loaded up now. The MOA is the same, 150, 100, 200, but it's robotic instead of flesh, of course. So different resistances there. Gendro is the same with 150, 100, 200. Darim is the exact same as well, because he's another human enemy. Lockjaw and Soul, who is the Zanuka variant, is 150, 100, 200. Do these all have the same EHP? That would be kind of interesting. 150, 100, 200. Do they all have the same EHP? Really? Oh, no. That one, okay, Raptor has more shields by 50, which is not a huge consideration. Oh, no, the Raptor has more shields by 100, which is actually... pretty large. They all have the same EHP. Interesting. They're all using alloy armor. Make sure on that. Alloy, 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 alloy. They are all using alloy armor. So the thing with that is if you were to use any elemental type, you would want to use radiation, unless you were going straight for their EHP with slash procs, which is what I was doing, which is even more effective. How many corrosive procs does it take to fully strip armor? That is not linear. Well, it's a linear increase, but it's per your value of armor. It's never exactly the same. Second, what would you change about high-level enemies instead of giving them a shit ton of health? Make them smarter. Do they just copy-paste a bunch of enemies and put them in the arena? Yes. The only enemy that has any different, like, values besides being robotic or flesh is the Raptor variant, which has 100 extra shields. How does it fire? I've never used it before. It's a continuous beam weapon that also fires out cubes that explode. It's actually pretty cool. It's not really for me, but it's cool. Yeah, that's too much. Turns out this is too much. 28 million EHP, that's way too much. And that's for a level 360. Like, does anyone have like an actual level that they were? Because I think they were getting into the 400s, but I kind of lowballed it. But coding AI is hard, said DE. It clearly isn't, because they fixed ballistas, to be fair. Ballistas could be much stronger than they are right now, and they would still be totally fair because of the way they're designed. Did they nerf the status Tigris Prime? Don't believe so. They can make more complex AI. Stalker pre-second dream is proof. 476. 400 and... Really? No. That is an absurd increase. I played to about 450, then said fuck it. Okay. Well, somebody said 476, and someone else said 450. Got to 431. Let's real quick. Let's do level 476. What Sin said. So we'll just here. I'll just recopy this. We'll do level 476 if their base level is 5. Also, once you get into these levels, base level starts mattering less and less and less. 700. I got over 9,000. We'll stick with 476 so you can see how ridiculous this is. Maybe round it up to 480. Yeah, sure. We'll round up to 480. All right, I'm in for that. We can do some of that. Okay, so 150 times 1 plus 2, 480 minus 5, and then that's to the second, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Times 0.015. Okay, so for health, and this is the kicker. That is how much they get. About double. And let's just, of course, do armor. 507,000. You know, whatever. Let's separate this. Separate the healths, separate the armors. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a significant amount of health right there, is what that is. Okay, and then we'll do 200. Oh, wait, no, not 360. That's 480. 480 minus 5. Set to the, yeah, to the 175. And then that's, yeah, times 5. And then in terms of armor, just to be more accurate, I'll put the whole thing out there. 48,000. That's significant. He receives foreign aid to come first. He doesn't want to. It's not true. Wonder if the level will be in order to get 100% damage reduction. That, yeah, it doesn't allow for it. Those are too many numbers for one enemy. Oh yeah, that's definitely true. You going to make this YouTube vid later on? Oh yeah, the YouTube video I'm working on with stuff like this is way more robust. I'm going to be talking about exactly how damage is dealt in the game. That's going to be later next week, or it should be done later next week if I actually, you know, do it correctly. Okay, so we'll take that number, which that's the armor value, and then we need to copy this and plug that into damage reduction, which I imagine it's just gonna fucking be 999, basically. And then that's 8 instead, which you can clearly tell it's such a huge difference. Okay, so now we'll actually plug this in, which is gonna be a pain in my ass because this thing I use does not have copy paste functionality across this. 668 5647 divided by 48829.6685647 equals, oh yeah, that's what we're looking for. That pushes this enemy up into the 99% damage reduction range. So they're basically, at all times, they are under the effects of a Blessing Trinity. At all times. So, let's whop that out into an actual thing here. So, also, before you calculate what the, like, resistance is, here, I'll do this the right way. 507, 806.25. That's divided by 1 minus this. Okay, good. I did paste it in here before I fucking took it out. Okay, that ends up with this. This here, aside to that, ends up being this number. It's like whenever you actually do this, you get this little tiny itty bitty number. But then that equals, whenever you do that, you do 507, 806.25 divided by that. And that, yeah, that's about right. And because we got pushed up into that range, we get this. That is 82 million. That's 82 million. Effective health points. Fatal teleport Ash, Coco. I have an idea for a new quest. You want to hear it? Sure. Wait, what? That's the EHP of Tia Main, but also pretty much all of the other enemies in the endurance for the index, and why it is not fun. Like, these are the Y levels of enemy. Like, that's not fun. Like, that is not fun. It is more fun for me to do the math to find out the numbers than to fight that. It is more fun for me to run the numbers on it. Oh yeah, and their finisher disabled. Because why would we have a thing that we have as a thing to do to enemies? Why not just turn that off? Because fuck the players. What about Ash with Fatal Teleport and Covert Lethality? I don't know if that works. And it won't work on all of them, because some of them are Bursas and Raptors. So you just have to never kill those, basically. Which is unacceptable. Just admit it, Brozime, you want everything to be one-shot killable? I don't even want it to be one-shot killable. I just want it to be, like, killable in, like, a reasonable amount of time. Like, if I have to pump, like if I have to go 10 shells deep with a Tigress, I'm willing to go 10 shells deep with the Tigress. Like, that, sure. Like, absolutely. But, like, 10 shells of a Tigress Prime that's maxed out the way I have it, like, that should kill pretty much whatever. It's reduced effectiveness bomber, but basically. And you lose energy per second for doing the objective. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think that these enemies should be tough. They should be tough. They should absolutely be tough. In an endurance, they should be fucking hardy. But at the point where I'm using an Atarax, which is going through their armor and their shields with super heavy, crazy damage slash procs. Like, what? And it's not killing them? Like, at any kind of time? Like, not killing them in, like, 20 seconds? That's absurd. Because they have, like, these absurd values of health. This seems like a replacement for gameplay rather than actually designing an interesting mechanic. Exactly. And, like, you know what's interesting about this? Is that these levels of health, like 27 million, 82 million, those are actually fine. But you have to design around having enemies that are that tough. Like, if you have an enemy that is that tough, first of all, it should be giant. Because it should be giant. Like, you should fucking know that thing is nigh unkillable, and there should be an objective around it. For example, Razorback. Razorback, the event with Razorback, I don't remember what it was called, is one of the most well-designed, great events that we've had ever in Warframe. And it's my favorite enemy in the game. Because there's a mechanic around getting bursts into the ring to stun it so you can do damage to it, and it takes like a couple rotations to kill it. That is engaging and fun, and that enemy has a shit ton of health, but has like vulnerability periods. And it's totally invincible otherwise. And you'd think total invincibility would be like complete bullshit most of the time, and it is. Like whenever you take situations like Let Krill, for example, where most of it is just a waiting game that's just stupid and he's just shooting at you. Like that's garbage. Like you have to actively engage a player, is all I'm saying. Yeah, like this is dumb. This is stupid. This is the dumbest shit. Yeah, Razorback was great. I had a ton of fun with that. Feeling like you're fighting a behemoth is not the same as some prick with a taunt fight. Exactly. And like that, for example, that is why Destiny gets away with a lot of the bosses that they do. And part of that is because a lot of the raid bosses in Destiny actually do have interesting mechanics. I have to concede that. But a lot of their big, like, just meatbag enemies like, you just shoot them. Like, you just shoot them to death, but they're huge, and they usually have, like, big telegraphed attacks that can instant kill you in a lot of cases. But that's totally fine. Because they're huge and telegraphed. This 4 crow's projection not working. Even then, they still have so much health. And I don't think it works. I'm not sure, though. Is it still worth it to play the index, then? Well, it's not the... Okay, it's worth noting, the index is not this bad until you get to the endurance. And, like, do the endurance for, like, your points or whatever. Like, for the 100 points. And then stop. Like, the earlier levels are whatever. I guess problem with Razorback is when you would hack the Bursa, and then AI wouldn't down the Razorback. If it got down just by a Bursa being hacked, Razorback would be perfect. I agree with that. Yeah, it was a little bit too buggy with the Bursas. Although I think that was, like, maybe because it was just, like, something that couldn't really, like, be super tested a lot before they released it. Like, for the most part, it was great. Like, if they just polished that up a little bit and, like, got, like, maybe the Bursa a little bit more on rails, I think that would have been totally solved. And, like, things being a little bit buggy is kind of whatever. But, like, things being like this is stupid. I don't think it does, Mudkip. Templar and Atheon had good mechanics. Atheon was cool. That boss is rad. Warframe Soul Scholar, the first rail. Highest I got with Endurance. Also, I left these Twitch things on. But Parallax Gamer, Buttface, Oni Storm, and Kelshawn, thank you for following me on the Twitch. But I have to turn those off now. Because I always forget to do that whenever we switch to YouTube. Only some of the Bursas had the issue, most notably the Isolator Bursas, because it had a Detron as its main weapon and got right under the Razorback. Ah. I hit the optimized game because I always get stuck on loading screens and it's taking a while. Over half an hour now. Ooh. Are you done Ducat farming for the day? No. We're going to continue with that. I wanted to do this. Because it seemed like this... It's important to show your work when you say something is bullshit, because that's bullshit. Like, I'm not going to, like, argue with you and tell you you're wrong, but is there anyone in chat that thinks that this is okay with how this is designed? I do not have a Shadow Link. The people that had it are the people that had it before release and on Xbox. But yeah, like I said, like, you can have EHP values like that, but you need a good mechanic with it. Like, a mechanical difficulty is the best kind of difficulty. Like, I know a lot of people don't like it, but, like, there's good and bad ways to do it. But, like, for example, in Law of Retribution, the first raid, in Warframe, like, it's, like, your team of 8 needs to stand on these buttons to get through this door. You gotta hack the things, you gotta work together, you gotta make sure nobody goes down. Everybody get on the buttons, solve the puzzle. That is difficult in a way that is infuriating a little bit, but it's not infuriating because of the game. It's usually infuriating because of your teammates. If your teammates all work together, it's like a fun puzzle that works really well, and you just, like, all get it done super fast. And, like, that's fine. There is a mechanic telling DE to fix it. Anyway, let's get back to the game. That's been your EHP minute. Also, worth noting that if anyone missed it, that 82 million EHP is this bitch. This fucking scrawny little corpus motherfucker. This bitch has 82 million EHP whenever she's level 460 or 480. And she's got 27 million at 360. Thought endurance was shite, but we tried. We did try. I had hopes for it. And, like, the first 2 parts were, like, kind of simple, but they were okay. Yeah, that bit.